What's good, everybody out there in YouTube land? It's your boy DJ Too Legit. Today I want to go over with you what I've done with my Rane One as far as remapping buttons and customizing it for my workflow. I do this with all of my controllers, and I've done it with the Rane One as well. And this includes how I use stems, which I'm going to show you that as well. Now there's a lot of buttons on here that I would not normally use, so what I've done is I've remapped them and given them functions that I do use in my workflow. Many of you already know that I use the Rane One with Virtual DJ, and it works great. So let's just dive right in and let me show you the modifications that I've made. Okay, you guys, so here's my Rane One, and I want to go over all the buttons that I've basically remapped to fit my workflow. And the first thing that I want to show you is the way I use stems. And the reason is because I see on the forums a lot of DJs will pass up the Rane One because they say it doesn't do stems or something to that effect, which I've never understood that. Now, you know, I use the Rane One with Virtual DJ, and Virtual DJ automatically maps stem buttons on the Rane One. So let me show you how that works. So down here, you can customize any of these buttons for your stems. In Virtual DJ, I believe it automatically customizes the slicer button for your stems. So if you press the slicer button 2 times, 1, 2, you get your stems. But what I've done, I've customized my slicer button to be stems only. I never use the slicer, so when I press the slicer 1 time, there's all my stem buttons right there. And as you see, they correlate perfectly with Virtual DJ. You got vocal, instrument, bass, acapella, kick, hi-hat, effects, and instrumental. And I get to that by just pressing the slicer button 1 time. Now, some DJs may say, but you know what, that's too much of a hassle. Where if you're in your hot cues, and then you have to press another button to get to your stems, that's too much work, and that's not fast enough. Well, I can see that point. So what I've done to get around that is this. For me, when I'm using stems, I only need an acapella or an instrumental. I don't really need to take out the bass or the drums or hi-hat, but some of you may need that. But for me, I just need to quickly get to an acapella or an instrumental. So what I do is I take these 2 buttons here, the slip button and the sensor button, because I never ever use these, and I never will. And I have remapped the slip button to be acapella or vocals only, and I've remapped the cursor to be instrumental. So if I need to grab a quick acapella, all I have to do is press that slip button and I got the vocals. Press it again and all the music comes back. Same way for this button. If I quickly need just an instrumental track, I press it and I got the instrumental going, press it again, and then all the vocals come back. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of that right now. And I'm going to use a non-copyrighted song from YouTube to show you what I'm talking about, because I don't want any copyright strikes and I don't want my monetization to get messed up. So I'm going to play the song here. Let's turn up a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to pull the vocal out real quick. I'm just going to press that button. And boom. Press it again. And the instruments come back. Now I'm going to press the instrument button. And I got instruments only. Press it again. And the vocals come back. Once again, I'm going to press the vocal button. And I got just the vocals. Press it again, the instruments come back. All right. And that's basically how I handle stems. And that works good enough for me, you guys. Okay, the next thing I want to show you guys is how I do effects. And I've done this on all of my controllers, starting with the SX2, all the way to the DDJ800, the DDJ1000, and all of my controllers. What I'll do is, I'll take one of these buttons that I'm not using, and I'll put my effects on there. So on the Rane One, I've taken my Save Loops button, because I never use that for anything. Click it, and this is where I have the effects that I use the most. The first one being the echo out. So I've got my echo out or loop out mapped to this first button here. And you heard me just give you a demonstration of that. I'll give you one right now. So remember, this is my echo out button. I'm gonna press it for you. And there you go. It works perfectly. And it's super, super easy to map these buttons. I'm going to show you how to map them real quickly because I have a lot of DJs that ask me, how do they do that? And it's so simple. It's so simple. All you have to do is come right here, you open this up, and you go up here to the top. It says edit. You click on your edit button, and right here, it brings you to this page, and it has all of your buttons right there. So you just pick the one that you want to edit. So for example, on the Rane One, I have edited the save loop. So you just click on that, and then down here, it has all your pads for your save loop. So my first pad, pad 1, I click it, and then up here I have the action. And there's the action. I just type that in, effect, loop out, activate. And you have to do it exactly like that, spaces, quotation marks, and everything. And you just put that right in there, and then you close it out, and you're done. And you can do that for all of the pads. It is that simple. And you can do it for any of these buttons that you want to do it for. So I have my first button for echo out or loop out. Second one is flipping doubles. Third one is beat grids, 2 different ones. The fourth one is a looping effect that I like to use. And then these 3 are variations of cut. So this is the cut effect at different values. So those are my basic effects that I use. All right, now let's move on to other buttons that I have basically remapped. Now, you guys know that the Rane One does not give you the ability to control your sampler volume levels. I hated that, but it's not a big deal. What I've done is I've taken this button here, stop time, because I would never use that. I don't care how it stops. So I have remapped this to be my sampler volume. Let me give you a quick demonstration. Let's go to my sampler. Okay, let's press this loud horn right here. I got total control of it right there. Okay, and it doesn't matter, whatever effect I pick.
Get in the groove with your favorite DJ Tula Jet. Get this party started.
All right, so that knob is now my sampler volume knob, and it works great. Okay, moving right along, this button here, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but it wasn't doing anything. And I'm used to using that button to maneuver around in my song list in Virtual DJ. So I basically remapped that to help me do that. Let me show you. So this knob, when I turn it, look what it does. It does that, which that's correct. That's what it's supposed to do. And then if I press it, it'll load it to the left deck right there. And that's fine. But if I want to jump from this list over to that list, or back over to this list, that's what I need this back button for. That's how it normally works. That's how it works on my DDJ 1000. So I mapped this button so when I press it, watch what happens. Boom, see that? It jumped over there. And I press it again and it jumped back over there. Press it again, so it's going between those two. Now, if I needed to get over in this column here, what I've done is I've MIDI mapped it to be shift back. So if I do shift plus back, it'll jump from that column to that column. I'm going to do it with my hand and watch what happens. See that? Hit back, it goes over there, and then shift back, and it goes right over there. So that's how I like to get around. I don't like using the laptop keyboard just to jump around like that. I like doing everything right up here and scrolling and selecting. So I can do all of my scrolling and selecting songs right from my Rane One. I don't have to touch my laptop whatsoever. The next thing, for me, it's very important that I have quick access to auto pitch lock. And what does auto pitch lock do? Well, basically, if I have a track playing on this side and then I want to match the tempo on this side, I want them to be locked together. So no matter what I do with the pitch fader, whatever I do to this deck, it's going to do the same to that deck, and then vice versa. Whatever I do to that deck, it's going to do the same thing to this deck. So what I've done is, I've got these two pitch bend buttons that I will never ever use. Because for me, I do all my nudging manually around the edges of the platter like that. That's how I learned on controllers. And it's a lot different on moving platters. It's a lot different. And it took me a couple of days to get comfortable, but I'm very comfortable with it now. You just have to lightly press there, you know, do it like that, lightly touch it. And I can nudge just fine on a moving platter, just like I used to do on the controller. So since I'm not using these, I have remapped these buttons. This pitch bend plus button, I've remapped it to be my auto pitch lock. So anytime I load two tracks, and whether I hit the sync button or make them match with the pitch faders, once the BPMs are matching, then they automatically lock. And I use that a lot in my workflow. Now the other button right here, the negative pitch bend, I have remapped that to be tempo reset. And I use that a lot. I use that when I'm transitioning from different BPMs, like say 128 to 115. I'll use this one a lot. For example, let's say I have a track over here that's 128, and then I have a track over here that I loaded that's 115. Well, what I'll do is, while this 128 is playing, I'll hit the sync button. Yeah, I use sync, and I'm not ashamed of it. And I'll lock this to 128. So now they're locked. But however, this is really 115. So what I'll do is, I'll press my tempo reset button, and then it'll reset this from 128 to 115, and it'll bring this one down as well. So they'll hear this fast track, all of a sudden slow down, then boom, I let this one play, and I fade this one out, and it's an extremely smooth transition from 128 to 115. And another good thing about having these two buttons mapped that way, these two tracks are pitch locked, but they got two vastly different BPMs. When this is lit up, I know they're pitch locked. If I change my mind and I don't want this one to be locked with that one anymore, for whatever reason, all I have to do is press this button one time and it will unlock it. And I'll know they're pitch locked because when they're pitch locked, it lights up. So anytime I see this lit up, I know that the pitch lock is active, it's on. So I can press it and turn it off, and then I can move this and it won't affect this platter over here. So these are extremely important for my workflow. So that's it, guys. That's basically how I have remapped a lot of these buttons on my Rane One to work with Virtual DJ the way that I personally need it to work. And I'm loving my Rane One, for real. So I hope this helps some of you guys, especially you guys out there who think you cannot use stems on the Rane One for whatever reason. As you see, that's not true. You can use stems very well on the Rane One with the press of one button, or you can remap other buttons to be your stems. And that works for me, and it'll probably work for a lot of you guys out there as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm DJ Too Legit. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you like what you saw. Leave a comment, hit the like button, and as always, you guys know the drill, right? I will see you on my next video. Take care. Peace.